So you know I love history and old towns. Well, today we got something very special in store. We're not just heading to an old town, but the oldest town in all of Texas, Knack. Short for Nacogdoches! This episode was made for y'all with the help of our awesome partners. Check the caption for more info. Nacogdoches lies about 2.5 hours from Houston and right in the middle of the East Texas Pines. It's closer to Louisiana than most of Texas, but a great day trip for anyone east of I-45. This town of around 30,000 folks sits beneath a beautiful canopy of pine trees. Despite its long history, nowadays Knack is known mostly for one thing: SFA, Stephen F. Austin University, named after our father of Texas and home of the Lumberjacks. On campus these days, you'll find plenty of them. Lumberjacks just hanging out, doing lumberjacky things. And if you want to join them, just make sure you don't get carried away. All right, guess I'm no lumberjack. Now, as we said, SFA is a huge part of modern Nacogdoches, but this city is much older than the university, going back to a legend that SFA fully embraces on the football field. Well, the legend goes something like this. Chief Caddo lived on the Sabine River with twin boys. Well, when it came time for them to settle their own tribes, he sent one east toward the rising sun and the other west toward the setting sun to settle the competing sister cities of Natchitoches and Nacogdoches. Today, SFA and Nacogdoches Northwestern State University compete for the chief. And at 7.5 feet tall, he's no small trophy. Well, I'm happy to say Chief Caddo is now safely here at SFA. Axum Jacks! So that's the legend of how this community started. But fast forward a few hundred years, and we find the origin of the town. It's officially the oldest town in Texas, owing its roots to a certain Spanish gentleman, Antonio Gil Y'Barbo, who actually had to plead with the Spanish for permission to found this town.
Dearest King, I know you want me to abandon East Texas and return to the missions in San Antonio, but frankly, I don't want to. The pine trees smell so nice out here, and pretty, please. Hugs and kisses, Antonio Gil Y'Barbo.
Well, he must have made a convincing argument, because in 1779, Spain granted his request, officially founding Nacogdoches as the first puebla, or town, in Texas. Y'Barbo built the first permanent structure, known as the Old Stone Fort. It stood for over a century along the old El Camino Real trade route, serving as everything from a trading post, to a hotel, to a jail, and even a saloon. The original was torn down in 1902, but a replica and museum now stands on the campus of SFA. The Old Stone Fort was the landmark and epicenter, and at times the most active and revolutionary place in Texas. Now, we all know about the 6 flags that have flown over Texas, but Nacogdoches actually has 9 flags, all flown over this fort. That's 3 extra, and one heck of a story. Time for a history lesson. This is Mr. Y'Barbo, who built the Old Stone Fort as a loyal Spanish establishment.
Viva España!
However, in 1812, angry at Spain, the Gutierrez-McGee expedition came to town. They ran a green flag over the fort and declared,
Texas is free!
Now, they trained a pretty good army, but were eventually whomped by the Spanish. However, the fun isn't over yet. Enter Mr. James Long from Louisiana, who thought Texas should have been French and included in the Louisiana Purchase, but it definitely wasn't Spanish. So he claimed independence and declared himself president.
Hail to the chief!
But as you can guess, that didn't last long, and the fort returned safely to Spanish hands. That is until the Mexican Revolution, that eventually chased Spain off and took control of Texas.
Viva la revolución! Viva Mexico!
And this is when our forefather Stephen F. Austin came to town. He visited the fort and decided to start settling Texas. And all was well. Until 1826, when a disgruntled settler named Hayden Edwards, with about 30 of his friends, started the Fredonia Rebellion.
Texas is ours!
Well, Nacogdoches was theirs for 37 days, until Stephen F. Austin returned with the militia and he put Edwards back in his place. But then, 10 years later, a revolution happened in Texas that finally stuck. The true revolution that ended Mexican rule and founded the true Republic of Texas. Ah, that was fun. Yes, Nacogdoches played a pivotal role in Texas history and has seen the likes of some of Texas's most pivotal characters. Austin, Houston, Rusk, Crockett, they all spent time here, many of whom are still here at the Oak Grove Cemetery, including one Adolphus Stern, whose private home still stands today and is open for tours.
All right, so this is Jessica Sowell, the Historic Sites Manager here. Hey, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for coming.
So tell me a little bit about this house.
Well, this house is actually the oldest house in Nacogdoches on its original spot. It was built in 1830 by Adolphus Stern, who is this man here. He and his wife came to Nacogdoches, built this home, and they were very involved in a little bit of everything. They really did kind of
the good and the bad.
Exactly, the good and the bad. Sam Houston was baptized in this house. Davy Crockett stayed here for about 10 days before the Alamo. Yeah, so there was a little bit of everything that happened here in the 1830s.
That's really awesome, and I think that this house is still standing.
It is. It's standing. We have people that come in every day and get to learn about this history.
Like most frontier homes, this house was originally just a couple rooms with a dog trot. Today, this room is set up as the Stearns' parlor and even has original furniture.
So early, parlor really wouldn't have been that well decorated, huh? A couple pieces of furniture and that's it.
There was a couple pieces. The Stearns had a little bit more than most people because they were a little bit well-to-do.
Well-to-do indeed. You definitely don't see this in many frontier homes.
And this is the Stearns wine cellar. It's the oldest wine cellar in East Texas that we know of.
Wow. This had to be pretty unusual.
It definitely is. The Stearns a little bit more well-to-do, so Mr. Stern could afford to buy wine in Germany, ship it to Nacogdoches, and then go pick it up and bring it back here.
So that's why he needed a cellar, because he wasn't picking up one bottle at a time.
Exactly.
He was picking
It
up a lot
was
of
cases
wine.
and cases that he stored down here. And it's about 10 degrees cooler, so it keeps your wine at a good temperature. Fruits, vegetables, meats, things like that could also be stored down here.
That's great.
Stern made his money trading goods, with a little on the side for smuggling guns to Texas revolutionaries, to help Texas become, well, Texas. But the Sterns were only one family who have lived in this house.
And this half of the house is dedicated to the von der Huye family, who is the second family that owned the house.
Okay. Okay, obviously lived in a different time.
They did. They were very Victorian, very decorated, a whole lot of stuff going on in every room.
It's amazing to think of all the men and women who've walked this ground. This is just one of the many historically important places in town. There are the Indian mounds of Mound Street, the old university building, built in 1859, and the Durst Taylor House, complete with sugarcane farm, blacksmith shop, and smokehouse. Smokehouse. Now that's an old-timey food I can get behind. And speaking of, it's time for lunch at CC's Smokehouse. A slightly updated take on the old smokehouse classic.
All right, so this is Heath Clement, the owner, and man, it smells great in here. What y'all got cooking back there?
We got some steaks, barbecue, did a little bit of everything around here, so.
That's the kind of things I like. Very good. Well, tell me a little bit about how this place got started.
Actually, I had a catering business. We were doing catering jobs for different oil companies. My thought when we first opened was we wanted a place to have a barbecue line so you can get through the line quick.
Sure.
Or if you have time to wait, you can get a steak, a salad, fajitas, whatever you'd like, chicken fried steaks.
And that's exactly what the smokehouse is. Steaks flying off a sizzling grill and barbecue slow smoking on the rotisserie.
We've had a good response the last 5 years. We have a lot of local customers. We may have to see the same person 3 or 4 times a week.
Really?
Yeah,
Awesome.
and that happens a lot, you know. A lot of oil field guys that really support us well.
Yeah.
I mean, you look behind me and see.
Yeah.
We got law enforcement.
That's always a good indicator. You know, if the police are eating there, it usually means that place is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's the telltale sign of a good joint.
Okay, so speaking of law enforcement, this is Sheriff Bridges. It's good to have you here.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Yeah, definitely. So what'd you get here?
Well, we usually get the cowboy steak. You can't go wrong with that.
And I like it eating on the finest china here.
Yeah, well, you know, it's simple, but it brings you back to the old days of just a good lunch.
Yeah, seriously good lunch.
And if you don't follow the cops, another good bet is to follow the oil and gas workers.
Just an all-around good place to eat.
Very
you ain't
good.
gonna find a better steak in town than right here.
Oh, seriously?
Seriously. Everybody in town comes to this place to eat lunch.
Very cool. All right, so this is definitely the right place for lunch. Now, what to eat? You know, I'm a sucker for barbecue, but this steak is calling my name.
Okay, I want a number 10 cowboy sirloin.
Alrighty, which one would you like?
Oh, all right. You get to pick out your steak. Good marbling. I think I need the third one up from the bottom. Right there. Yes. Yes. I'll just take this one. That looks so good.
And after a short ride on the flat top grill, here's the beef.
Oh, yes. Nice. Thank you very much. So look at this. 14 ounces of sirloin. Super thin. Usually you think about a 14-ounce steak, you know, being, wow, thick like that. But this one is thin. I've never had a steak like this. Served on a cafeteria tray. You know, the outside of the steak is always the best part. And since this steak's so thin, you basically have two outsides right next to each other. Super flavorful. Delicious. And just like a traditional meat market, CC serves it right there on butcher paper. Man, this is delicious. I don't know what seasoning they're using on this, but this whole steak is dang delicious. You know, people fuss about big old thick steaks, but after having this one, I think I'll start taking my steaks thin.
Now that I'm fed, let's go back to the history of the oldest town in Texas. But I don't just want to look at the history, I want to live the history.
We now interrupt this programming to remind you to like and subscribe. Now back to the road.
So I'm headed to Millard's Crossing, a vintage village making for one hands-on historical experience. And this is director Susie Lower.
Welcome to Millard's Crossing Historic Village.
Well,
I'm
thank
so
you.
glad to see you.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about it
Okay.
before we start. One thing we do here now is we want you to know what it was like to be a pioneer child. So come on, we have to get in costume here.
Oh,
Yeah, we have to get in the spirit. Okay.
Drew's gotta wear stuff
yeah,
too.
Right.
Bonnet for Mary, bonnet for Kelly,
Right.
bonnet for Richie, bonnet, hat, hat. All right, here we go.
So now it's time to learn to live like a subsistence farmer. Meaning, if you wanted it done, you gotta do it yourself. And that includes laundry.
So we have to get the water out of the well, so grab that rope, pull it up.
Oh, man, that's how they stayed in shape right there.
So you're a big boy now, but back in the old days, you would have been about 5 or 6, and you would have been having to do that. Now, I want you to go get something off the line so we can... Oh, that's Grandma's underwear.
We're doing Grandma's underwear today.
All right. Now, do you know what these are? These are washing machines. Only you are the machine part. Get the rub board out.
Hey.
Okay, put some soap on there. Rub some soap on. It's
That well
cold.
water's cold.
Can you imagine doing this for every piece of clothing? I think this would mean I'd do laundry about once a year.
Good. Now I'm going to teach you how to hang a good line, or the neighbors will talk that you haven't been raised right. Okay.
Oh, I got
Just
it.
a little bit over, and then the last step is you pull all the wrinkles out, so Mama doesn't have to do so much ironing.
Oh, there we go. Ironing and drying at the same time, pretty much.
Exactly.
I am thankful for modern technology after that right there, for sure.
Now that was a chore. And speaking of chores, time to shell the corn.
So what we're going to do is have a corn shelling relay race. You're going to be against her, and I want you to start shelling corn.
Oh, that's rough on the old thumbs.
That's my point exactly. I don't know.
Oh, booyah! That was fun. But this whole place is. I mean, where else can you fight with corncob darts?
Take her out.
Go again.
Oh, ow!
Oh!
This is early dodgeball.
Or play a pump organ.
This is a foot and hand exercise the whole time.
It is. Now, of course.
I know a little bit.
All while getting an education on life in the old days. A literal education.
Sit down and take your seat and make it snappy. I want you to sit up straight, hands folded on your desk, eyes forward, mouth shut.
I'm doing a lot of stuff I've never even done before, including writing with a quilled pen. Living in a world dominated by technology, it's nice to step back and see that it actually was possible to live without that stuff, and to actually have fun doing it. I think it's time to lift our heads up from the history books and breathe in some fresh air. With, say, a light stroll. through the Nacogdoches Azalea Garden. Ah, flowers. You might not know it, but I'm actually quite the expert on these things.
So this is the official flower of Nacogdoches, the azalea. It comes in many colors, like white, pink, pinker, purpley, pinker-ist, orangish, pinkish-y.
Okay, so flower gardens may be a little bit outside of my expertise, and a bit too passive for me. I think it's time to get active outdoors, real active, at Zip Knack, the newest thrill in the oldest town.
Hi, welcome to Zip Knack.
Hey, thank you, thank you.
It's a beautiful day for zipping. We're
It
so glad
is.
you're here. Let's get the waivers filled out, get you harnessed up, and let's go zip.
That was Susan. She and her husband Larry built Zip Knack in 2011 and haven't come down from the trees since. So after some training and a bit of goofing off, it's time to zip. On the outside, we may look like this, but on the inside...
Oh, jeez, oh, God, oh, no. Oh, God, oh, no.
Okay, so it's time to zip Knack. All we gotta do is climb this tower. Just 6 small flights of stairs.
Welcome to the top of Tower 1.
Woohoo! The course here starts at a slightly elevated 50 feet. Okay, crazy elevated 50 feet.
I'm glad I'm attached in.
And once you commit to the zip, the only way down is to finish the course. So here we go! All right, first one down. That line was called Bravo, as in, bravo, bravo, jolly good zip. And even though we lost some elevation, we are still way up in the trees.
You know, every other time I've ziplined, you're sort of covered by trees, so you can't see very far. But this one, being out in the field, you got these awesome views. And they're terrifying because you can tell how high you are.
This next zip is called andante, a musical term for slower, which gives us a chance to throw in some extra fun. Okay, so this is a zipline course, but this next challenge isn't a zip at all.
Off of the platform, onto the bridge. I thought I was just ziplining. I don't know if I signed up for this. So we stepped off the platform, and now we're on the sky bridge, and it went from flat to, well, not flat at all. It's getting steeper and steeper.
And Mary just had to make things crazier. Time for the next line, Allegro.
That's a long way.
About 300, 350.
350. Allegro!
Just like in music, Allegro means fast. This zip is fast. That was fun. But now it's time for the grand finale. Named, well, finale. It's a race line, stretching 900 feet. First up, a Mary versus Kelly showdown. Mary takes the lead, and Mary takes it by a brisket. Now for me versus Richie. I take the early lead, but in the end, defeat.
No! I thought I had that one. All right, well done. Well done.
Ooh. But regardless of the fact I didn't win, I still conquered Zip Knack, and I've got the t-shirt to prove it.
Oh man, that was awesome. Nothing but pure speed, flying 50 feet in the air. That was a rush. Richie, you did get me on the last one, all right? I will concede defeat. But I'm hungry, so let's find some dinner. Back to the road.
Well, now that we're pumping with adrenaline, we should probably slow things down a bit for dinner, because we're headed to one of the classiest places in town, Hotel Fredonia. Built in 1955, and it hasn't changed much since. And just one step into the lobby feels like a trip back to a much different era.
Hello. Welcome to Hotel Fredonia. You look weary, friend. Pull up a seat in the classiest digs in the Piney Woods. Feels good, doesn't it? Or why not lounge by the pool? Or, even better, how about I stop tickling these ivories and the two of us, and you go have dinner? Follow me.
Yeah, I don't think I want to eat dinner with that guy. Besides, I'd much rather chat with hotel owner Susan Pack Rents. Well, this is a wonderful hotel. Thank you for having us out.
We're glad you're here.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about the history of this.
History, it was built by the community in 1955, and the community got behind it and bought stock, and they built it in 11 months.
Wow, so this really was funded by the people?
Yes.
It wasn't a big business bankers coming in and doing this?
Nope. The brick you see, they picked it. They picked everything in here. There's a story behind everything in here. Nobody expects in a town of 30,000 that there's such a thing. So it's fun to watch them walk in and they stand out there and they're like, what the heck? Where did this come from?
You feel kind of like you were stepping into that era.
That's what we want. We want Frank Sinatra to sing to you.
I think I heard him earlier in the lobby. Very cool. This hotel was a point of community pride when built, and still is today, as locals dine in the upscale J. McKinney's restaurant, or take the more casual approach and grab food and drinks at the hotel's Nine Flags Bar.
So it's funny, the local people hang out at the hotel.
Yeah, right. Right.
It's always a great time.
So this isn't just like pub grub.
No, it's not. No.
Okay, so you had dinner over there. What made you wander out over on this side?
I want to hear some music out here, some live music.
Very good.
Our friend Cody's playing tonight.
Yeah, he sounds great.
It was my first time visiting, and I absolutely love the atmosphere. Like, I got this awesome mac and cheese with bacon on top, and it was like the best thing ever. Like, I want it every day I come here now.
And I'm officially getting hungry. It's time to eat.
So here at the Nine Flags Bar, they have a pared down menu of the place next door. But if you ask really nicely, they'll bring you the full menu, which has my favorite thing on it, Fredonia mac and cheese. It's a baked macaroni and cheese, but you get to pick your toppings. Things like barbecued chicken, spinach, sun-dried tomatoes, blue cheese crumbles, roasted red peppers. The list goes on and on.
So after much debate, I'm going with jalapenos, caramelized onions, and barbecued cowboy chicken. And that, my friends, is one delicious looking bowl of mac and cheese. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Man, is this not the biggest helping of mac and cheese you ever did see. So here's what I got, the Fredonia mac and cheese. 4 types of cheese. It's not just mac and cheese. You gotta mix it all in with the toppings. A little noodle, a little chicken, a little jalapeno. My mouth. Oh my gosh, that's so good. It's just wrong. You're used to mac and cheese being a side, not here. See, this is the whole experience. Oh my goodness. Woo-hoo-hoo. Check it out. This isn't your normal macaroni noodle. That is a trottole noodle. Yeah. I mean, how indulgent is this, eating an entire bowl of macaroni and cheese? But I don't feel guilty about it at all. I'll be honest with you. Ah, Nacogdoches, a town full of history and youth, where nature's beauty and adrenaline collide, and where lumberjacks and tall trees can live in harmony together. Who knew that the oldest town in Texas could feel so fresh? This, my friends, is the way to day trip. So I'll see all y'all out on the road. Vaya con Dios, amigos. All right, so this is Heath Clement, the owner, and man, it smells great. I can smell it from... Never mind. I'm the one who bombed it. I was like, I can smell the what? Wait, what am I? Biting the lip. Bibbidi boom boom boom.
I leave everything to my cat. Second.
I leave everything to Kelly's cat.
Yes, Kelly's cat is gonna have everything, including my dog.
So you can either grab lunch, which obviously not lunchtime. They actually have a pared down menu of the nice restaurant, because this one is not nice. All right, but you can actually get their menu right here.
What is the deal?
I'm talking babble. All right, here we go. So here at the Nine Flags Bar, Blar, I didn't even say blar, but I heard blar in my head. All right, ready? Just go.
Howdy, y'all. Follow along with my adventures at Chet Tripper on Instagram and at The Day Tripper TV on Facebook and YouTube. Or head to thedaytripper.com for travel guides, past episodes, and info on our mobile app and Team Day Tripper. This episode was made for y'all with the help of our awesome partners. Check the caption for more info. Howdy, y'all. Chet the Day Tripper here. Thanks so much for tripping with us. Remember, while you're here, like this video, subscribe to our channel so that we can stay out there on the road and keep on tripping. Did we miss anything in this town? Leave us a comment, let us know. We love finding out about new stops with all of your tips. And if you love Epic Texas Day Trips, remember to check our channel. We got a lot of them on there. Also, don't forget, if you want some sweet Day Tripper merch or another cool Texas-made product, come see us in Georgetown at the Day Tripper World Headquarters. You can also shop online if you check the link down there in the caption. All right, y'all. Bye con Dios, amigos.